There is no way he said this with the Oilers still on a break before their next game against the New Jersey Devils. A former Oilers goaltender gives his thoughts on the current mind games of the Oilers crease. All that more today on Oilers Digest. If you're part of the 23% that have subscribed to the channel, we'd like to thank each and every one of you. But folks, if you're part of the 76% that haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? For any and all Oiler Digest news, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And it is March. It's not hockey, but it's March Madness. And our friends over at Hot Takes are running a March Madness bracket for you to be a part of. We are kicking off a March Madness bracket here for the channel. Yes, we partnered with the Hot Takes app and other digest channels for this event. It is completely free to sign up. Just download the Hot Takes app, click the March Madness banner at the top, and under groups, select the Digest Media Pool. This is really exciting as there is over $35,000 in prizes to be won. And since there's a much smaller pool of people participating, there's a real chance in winning big compared to the other bracket challenges out there. Check out the link below or scan the QR code to download the app, and make sure to use the promo code DIGEST in all caps to get exclusive perks when signing in. Again, it's completely free and you have a serious chance of winning big. If you have troubles signing in to the Hot Takes app, make sure to use the email down below in the description and they will get you all sorted out. I'd love to see you there. March 16th is the main event bracket. Lots of basketball, lots of winning. So again, hope to see you. And once again, thank you to Hot Takes. Should be lots of fun, but what's not lots of fun right now, folks, is the current status of the Edmonton Oilers. More specifically, we're going to beat that dead horse again. The Oilers goaltending, from one goalie to another. Former Oiler goaltender, Devan Dubnyk. I'm sure you older fans out there are quite familiar with the history of Devan Dubnyk in the Oilers. And he was in the same shoes as Stuart Skinner once upon a time. And he had this to say about the current status of Stuart Skinner and the way he thinks within the crease when it comes to, Devan Dubnyk, of course. With the Oilers, his stats weren't exactly the greatest, and then he left. He went to greener pastures, went to Arizona for a bit, and then to the Minnesota Wild and finished third in Vezina voting, I do believe, in that 2014-15 year, and was a three-time All-Star with the Minnesota Wild. Of course, the the statistics in the last few years with the Oilers there, an 8.91 and an 8.94, all the way to putting up, a 9.36 with the Wild, a 9.18, a 9.23. But when it comes to Stuart Skinner, Devan Dubnyk says it's a tough task because he's got his game built. You aren't going to make any drastic changes midseason. You have to find a save here or there. I usually hate that expression as a goalie. No kidding. I'm trying to stop all of them. You have to go through and you have to start, to be a little more picky. You have to find that one. As goalies, that's how you get into deeper stuff. Why are you maybe a little late, or why aren't your feet set, or why is this puck trickling through? All of these little things, that's where you start digging deep. When bad goals are consistently coming up, you have to pick which ones to let go because it was chaotic in front or it went off the shin pad, but also start to look at which ones should have been saved. And of course, that's a very well, duh moment here from Devan Dubnyk, but it sort of rings true, of course. Whenever you see Stuart Skinner let in a goal, it seems like he lets all of them sort of affect him mentally. But the good goalies, the great goalies, the elite goalies, they just, let that bounce off their back and sail through to the pass. There's not much you can do about that. Of course, all the great goalies did that. Patrick Waugh, Dominik Hasek, Martin Brodeur, Curtis Joseph, even to an extent, even though he let in so many goals as an Oiler goaltender and many other teams in the NHL. But they did not let that get to their head. And that's exactly what Stuart Skinner needs to be doing in the crease and sort of locking in, as they say, whenever the going gets tough. And Stuart Skinner, again, just needs to be that much better within the crease. You can sort of see within the rest of the Oilers, whenever he does let in that bad one a period or two bad ones a period, it deflates the rest of the team. And the last thing you want to be doing as a goalie is letting your team down. But for Stuart Skinner, that is not, a well thought out strategy when it comes to tending the crease there, with sort of, belly flopping on your stomach there. Of course, that goal a little bit tricky there, especially when it comes to, Evan Bouchard being hounded by two Sabres. But Stuart Skinner has to be just a little bit better on that one, and he has to be a little bit better over these past couple games. It sounds like I'm ragging on the guy every single video, but when it comes to the Oilers and where they are at in their cup window, you don't need a fantastic goalie. You need a decent goalie, and Stuart Skinner for the most part not being decent there when it comes to the final game before the Four Nations face-off ever since the Oilers have returned, and really the only one shining moment on that is the 926 against the Montreal Canadiens. Sure, he had that Dallas game. I didn't really fault him on a lot of the Dallas goals last Saturday, but of course, an 840 on the score sheet does not look very pretty. But again, an 870 and 840, the 926, like I just mentioned, 875, 889, two in a row there, and 839. So the Oilers, again, in a crucial part of the season, just not getting enough out of number 74. As much as I hate to say it, his rookie year with the Oilers was phenomenal when he made his All-Star game as a rookie, but it's just been dwindling ever since then. I don't know if that's a mental thing or if it's a Dustin Schwartz thing. I mean, if that's the problem, Dustin Schwartz should have been out of the Oilers organization a long time ago, but yet he seems to know something within the organization that helps him keep his role. And of course, the Oilers hot and cold streaks for both of the goalies, all three if you want to include the terrorizing of Jack Campbell there, but it just seems to be flipping flopping between a hot and a cold streak there, going into the playoffs last year, when Skinner had a 927 in the month of April before the playoffs, had an 877 in the LA in the first couple games of the Vancouver series before he was pulled in favor of Calvin Pickard, and just sort of lit it up there ever since then. Mind you, the first three games of the Stanley Cup final, it was more so a mix of, bad goaltending and the Oilers not able to get a thing past Sergei Bobrovsky before Game 4. But it's just been, you never know which kind of Stuart Skinner you are going to get. He is the box of chocolates that is the Oilers starting goaltender this season. And even into this season, October to November, 877, turned up the heat from November to the end of January, the 921, and he's just been back to where he was with an 871 and a 3-5-0 record from February 1st to March 11th. Again, as much as I hate to rag on the guy, he was thrusted into the spotlight a little too quickly, of course, with the Jack Campbell fiasco. But it's a big pressure situation in Edmonton. There, of course, small market means the most visibility on the most vulnerable positions, and goalie is one of them. And even Elliotte Friedman has to agree that Stuart Skinner is getting a lot of scrutiny right now. He made some really good saves. Of course, this was regarding, I do believe, the Buffalo game, but he gave up some really rough goals and they lost. So that's what they're focusing on right now. The Oilers made a choice at the deadline, and I think it was a defensible one. Some might disagree with that, with what I think was potentially available to them in goal. They said when you add in the acquisition cost, it just wasn't worth it. I think it is, from what I can tell, knowing I don't know everything. I think you can say it's at least a defensible position. I know a lot of people talk about John Gibson, but the health thing is, it is a thing. I think right now, as we go into the last 20 games of the regular season and head towards the playoffs, there might not be a more scrutinized player in the league than Stuart Skinner. And absolutely, not just Oiler fans, but I think the rest of the league right now, fan base wise, executive wise, player wise, they are starting to figure out the weak link with the Oilers team. And I'm sure the past couple games, it's not just been Stuart Skinner, it's just been the team failing to recognize, playing. The solid brand of Oiler hockey that they forgot to do ever since they came out of the Four Nations face-off there. They were a fantastic team heading into it. And ever since then, like Kris Knoblauch said, they've been just a little bit fragile. But I mean, all season long, it hasn't been like this all season. But they're still first in the NHL for the least amount of high danger chances against. So they are allowing Stuart Skinner, and to an extent Calvin Pickard, the opportunity to flourish in net behind a top defensive team. But it just hasn't quite been there when it comes to the price of goalies. It was high this year, but good teams find a way to sort of stop the bleeding before it gets too bad. I mean, you saw the Colorado Avalanche acquire Mackenzie Blackwood, and it didn't really look like they gave up a whole lot. I mean, Alexander Georgiev was not having a very solid start to the season in Colorado. Nikolai Kovalenko, sure, one of their more younger roster players, but I mean the quality of assets given up, it wasn't like they were asking for a king's ransom here. I mean a 2026 second and a 2025 fifth round pick. I would have given up that deal every single day of the week for a guy like Mackenzie Blackwood, who has flourished in Colorado. But that's neither here or there. That's just me trying to cope in this situation. But I mean, as for right now, folks, Stuart Skinner, it's what we have right now. So with the team that the Oilers have right now, I think there will be a way for Stuart Skinner to bounce back in this environment. He's done it before. Why can't he do it again? I mean, Stu, I love that chant. What can I say? But the Oilers, they are still on the road with some new look lines as they get ready to take on the New Jersey Devils tomorrow night. Yes, we still have to wait one more sleep for some more Oiler hockey there. They take on the New Jersey Devils at the Prudential Center, 6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain, as the Oilers still have yet to see the bright lights of the Manhattan skylight. We still have to see one more game before, two more games I should say, before they take on the New York Rangers. But the new look lines, like I alluded to, or some of them are new anyways, coming here from Daniel Nugent-Bowman of The Athletic, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid, and Zach Hyman. Still the unbreakable first line, even though I'd like to see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins sort of swap places with Adam Henrique, pardon me. As Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, like I alluded to in the previous game recap, just hasn't been the same old Nuge like he has. So you need him to switch it up one way or another. But folks, Jeff Skinner on the second line with Leon Draisaitl in Victor Arvidsson, Vasily Podkolzin, Adam Henrique in Connor Brown, and then Max Jones, Kasperi Kapanen in Corey Perry, with no Matthias Janmark, and the defenseman rotating as well with no Matthias Ekholm or John Klingberg, with Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard between the pipes in practice today. But unfortunately, folks, Janmark is sick, but he's potentially available tomorrow. I mean, buddy, take all the time you can get to get better. The Oilers, hopefully, they can be better off without him. I think they will. But an update on Matthias Ekholm from Gene Principe here after Daniel Nugent-Bowman asked Kris Knoblauch about the status of Matthias Ekholm. The plan was he, being Matthias Ekholm, was going to join us in New York, but now it looks like he will stay in Edmonton to nurse whatever it is that he has. But hopefully, good wishes to Matthias Ekholm on sort of recovering. I mean, the guy's been everywhere in the past month, so hopefully he gets better in time for the Stanley Cup playoffs. That is it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the whole Stuart Skinner situation. I don't know how many times I've asked for the comment prompt, but I'm very interested. I know Stuart Skinner still has his fans, but I've also seen some people turn heavily against Stuart Skinner. I mean, they do have their reasons, but we've also seen Stuart Skinner bounce back before in the Stanley Cup playoffs after being replaced by Calvin Pickard. So we don't know which Stuart Skinner we are exactly going to get. Hopefully, it's the Game 6 Dallas Stuart Skinner that we get. But if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out Hot Takes in the description there and join our March Madness pool. You have the opportunity to win money, and you don't even have to give anything for it. What better deal than that, folks? Take care. Have a great rest of your day. I'm Matt.